Hey guys, welcome back. So, story time. Wow. I always try to avoid posting in comment sections on social media because, yikes. But I really couldn't help it recently because Pornstache is at it again. This time he's trying to disprove the theory of evolution. So, let's watch.
You, my friend, did not descend from a monkey. Did you know that Charles Darwin's theory of evolution has been debunked according to Charles Darwin's own criteria? Check it out.
Darwin said if this happened, his theory would absolutely fall apart. What was he talking about?
Well, let me read his actual words out of The Origin of Species. He said, if it could be demonstrated that any complex organ existed which could not possibly have been formed by numerous slight successive modifications, my theory would absolutely break down. So he was talking about the slow progression of evolution. Now, it turns out that there are innumerable organs which cannot be assembled through slight successive modifications. Think, for instance, of the eye. You have to have all the component parts in place all at once before it can work. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't bestow any advantage onto the organism. So, in fact, it was Darwin's own criterion that falsifies evolution.
Nice try, but no. This offers no insight or challenge to the DNA studies whatsoever. Just because Darwin allegedly expressed one possible flaw in his own theory does not discredit the entire thing. This shows just one person's opinion that it has been disproven, and a claim that Darwin himself would have agreed. Unverified. So, when I saw this new ridiculous video short of his, I felt inclined to comment simply, so how do you explain that humans share about 98.8% of their DNA with chimpanzees? That's a significant match. This is, by the way, an absolute fact. And let me tell you, the Christian commenters did not disappoint and rose to the occasion with their ridiculous responses. But the ones that really stood out to me are the three comments that basically said, we also share DNA with bananas, implying, does that mean we are descendants of bananas? A Christian right, ladies and gentlemen. So let's chat about this, because while the short answer is no, their logic is completely ridiculous and incorrect, there is one small fact that I could pull out of it. It's just their conclusion that is wrong. So believe it or not, it is actually true that we do share some DNA with bananas, around 50 to 60%, but that similarity mostly reflects very ancient universal biology. Those shared genes are the ones that every living cell needs just to function, like copying DNA, making proteins, or processing energy. They don't make us half banana. They're the molecular equivalents of having bolts and screws in common across all machines. It doesn't mean a bicycle evolved from a car. The 98 to 99% similarity with chimpanzees, on the other hand, is a completely different kind of similarity. That figure compares the full genome sequence, and it reflects not just universal cellular machinery, but highly specific genes, gene order, mutations unique to primates. This closest points to a recent common ancestor between humans and chimps, roughly 6 to 7 million years ago. So sharing some DNA with bananas shows all life has a distant common origin, while sharing almost all DNA with chimpanzees shows we have a very recent shared evolutionary history. In short, the banana fact doesn't weaken the case for evolution, it actually supports it, showing that all living things are connected, but to very different degrees depending on how recently their ancestors diverged. I tried explaining this to them down in the comment section, and I thanked them for calling me genius, nice of them to notice that. But I doubt they even read my explanation, because people of faith have just that. Faith. They never have facts or science on their side, and they don't accept facts or science as proof that they are wrong. They're stubborn about their viewpoints and just justify it as their faith. This is a very unhealthy and very unacceptable way to live, in my opinion. I, for example, would be prepared to admit defeat if someone were to prove me wrong using science, logic, or reasoning, But these people would never do that. It's unfortunate too, because so many of these people still act this way. They are slowing down the progress of all mankind. Because they still use this approach to block studies, including, but not limited to, stem cell research, or even social issues such as constantly trying to overturn gay marriage, or even saying doctors should be allowed to refuse service to gays due to their own religious beliefs. I tell you, religion is without a doubt the most toxic element of this world, because it is a widely held belief with no proof that somehow is still factored into decision-making processes. I mean, look at all the war it has caused. Millions and millions of deaths. Think about that. Alright everyone, that's my video for today. I hope you learned something from it. And if this was just review for you, even better. Until next time folks, TTFN. So much love guys. Please click the subscribe button and click the little bell to be notified when I post more videos. I've got many more to come. Also, please find me on social media at GayModerate on TikTok, Insta, X, and Facebook. I post on there a whole lot more than I post on here, so check it out.